everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your 10th Walker Season 2 episode review, we are back. Like I said before last time, that month was gonna fly by, and oh my damn god, that month, February, was so damn long. For the shortest month, even on a leap year, it was still very much, I think, the longest month of the year, and it's only been 2 full months right now, so a lot has happened, obviously, with the world, with us. A lot has happened, you know. We started a new channel. This was our slowest month of What's in the Tube because, ironically, both the Rookie and Walker decided to take pretty lengthy hiatuses. Nancy Drew wrapped up, but you know, everything's going good. I think we're in a good spot right now. You know, kicking off March with brand new episodes of both shows. More to come on other fronts, but it's been fun. It's been a very fun month at times, very stressful month at times, but you're not here about that. You're here to talk about Walker because we're back. It's been a full month away. Literally, I said this before at the last review where I was like, damn, a whole month off, that's gonna take forever. And I'm like, brah, that I'm not gonna say it flew by fast, but you felt the time pass in show with our reality, because it has been a while since the last episode, both in the show time and also in our real life. And honestly, I want to say that Walker delivered a great episode to come back to. I mean, they're refocused. They are a little bit rejuvenated. They kind of have this, like, you know, sense of direction. And not to say the last 9 episodes didn't have a sense of direction. It's just in this Walker story where it's like everything's fast and loose and you don't really know what the next big thing's going to be or when it's going to happen. You kind of always have to be on your tippy toes and always expect that. Don't expect it to stew as long as a lot of shows. Because again, I said this before for Walker Season 1, that felt like 2 seasons in one. I'm not sure how Season 2 is going so far, because again, I don't know how many episodes we got in for this season. They haven't confirmed that yet, but I think we're in for a little bit of a while longer, I believe. But with that being said, yeah, so I honestly thought this episode of Walker was really great. We got our brand new partner, faster than expected. The news broke while we were away that I forgot her name again, but I know her character's name, but I don't know the actress's name, who's also ironically in How I Met Your Father. She's not part of the main cast, but she's part of the recurring cast, which I'm like, bet I get to see her at some times now twice a week. I mean, both Father's wrapping up soon, so I'm like, I highly doubt we'll see her that longer, but hopefully she'll have a pretty big role in Season 2, and now she's part of Walker Season 2, and hopefully going forward. And also, yeah, some other news, because it's not going to make any sense for later in the review. There's been movement on the Walker Independence pilot. The pilot is going to start shooting very soon. They have begun casting. Weirdly enough, they cast Hoyt from Season 1 to play Hoyt on Independence. So I'm like, okay, I guess there's no we can't kill him. We killed him off on the main show. We can keep him alive on the prequel, which I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever. If there's a little tongue-in-cheek reference at some point in the future, I'll be like, fine, do what you want. It's the CW. I really couldn't care any less in terms of like the logistics of like that. But honestly, it's fine. I mean, you know, again, he was a very good, his character was very good. I really liked Hoyt a lot, and, you know, getting to see the actor play the part again, but in a different spin in the olden times, it'll be fun. It'll be pretty fun. If that gets to series, remember, it's still in the pilot stage. There's still a chance it might even get to be a series. Who knows? Especially with everything that's going on with the CW, and especially that this is now the latest we have gotten before renewals, which is very weird, because normally by this time we'd be talking about the next seasons. Like, we would already be like speculating, and also for me to be saying like, oh, by next season, you know, I hope for this, and it's like, well, I can't say any of that. You know, we don't have a Nancy Drew Season 4 yet. A lot of the DC shows haven't been renewed yet. Like, nothing's been renewed, which is scary, because I know for other networks, like, it's more traditional in by May or June in upfront season. That's with the big presentation for all the networks, for potential investors, potential, you know, stock prices to like, hey, we're going to be doing these shows, or here's our lineup for the next quarter, or for the next broadcast here. That's normally the case for like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, but for CW, they've always been doing their own thing. And, you know, I mean, I think the earliest we got on renewal was at the very end of January, but usually February is kind of like the new normal, like, yeah, you're getting a renewal notice by this date, or episode extensions by this date. We got nothing. It's literally been quiet, which is very weird, especially after the sales news, which I'm like, yeah, that's actually hitting them a lot harder. my personal opinion, we'll probably get the renewal stuff by end of this month, no later than beginning of next month, because they're always ahead of the curve on that. I do believe we'll get them soon. The only thing I've heard about was Grant Gustin signing that big ass season 9 deal, if they do get a season 9, just to secure. That's the only thing about future talk, you know, that's like definitely in stone instead of like developments and, you know, and pilots and such like that. So with that being said, apologies for all like the business rigmarole. Let's get into it. Let's go for the butcher recap of this week's episode of Walker. So we begin with damn, I completely forgot how this episode began. Oh yeah, no, I remember. It's a bros breakfast. Cordell's kind of bored and lonely, so he decided to invite Trey and Liam for a bro breakfast, which ironically, even though this season has kind of set up like they're bros now, like they're actually bros in the 3 months they were away back in the start of season 2, between season 1 and season 2. Never really shared that many scenes together this season because everyone's kind of been doing their own storyline. It was nice, and again, it kind of gives Trey a little bit more purpose to do in the show since Mickey's gone, and especially after he made that big decision at the last episode that, yeah, you know, I'm going to move out of my house with Mickey, kind of have a fresh start somewhere, you know, kind of like have a new beginning, because there's, again, most likely than not, Mickey's not coming back in a full recurring role, so there's no reason for him to keep waiting around the house, so he's need to find a new place. He needs to find rent's pretty, okay, I've been to Texas before. It's not that expensive, but it's not that cheap. So you need kind of like a roommate because, you know, a school, what was it, counselor and a coach salary doesn't really pay the bills that much without a partner. And since Liam is kind of willing to kind of like get himself into like maybe some private practice, maybe trying to like figure out what his next move is now that like all this like legal stuff with him is coming to a close, it would be a good time for these two like partner up as like, you know, roommates, you know, living roommates, you know, helping each other out, and you know, it'd be a fun collaboration that Cordell coincidentally suggests, and they're kind of like turning it around and think, oh, okay, I see how you're lonely, okay, so we'll see how it is. Well, yeah, of course, Mickey's been gone for a while now, and Cordell hasn't received the new partner yet, so it's kind of been lonely for him, so I'm not surprised that he's feeling the emptiness of having a partner, both romantically and both as a worker partner. You know, you kind of get that gist of with that. So I want to say we go into, yeah, Cordell gets called back over to the station, and Liam and Trey briefly talk about Cordell for a bit, but then Liam kind of switched topics to something else he has to explore with the Daverson still, because this damn rivalry doesn't really end at any point during this season. He wants to investigate with the property deeds and like the property lines and such like that. So he wants to gain access to the public records for the Daverson's house and, you know, the land property. And of course, since he's kind of a little bit embarrassed to be back in the office after everything that's been happening with him so far, he doesn't want to. So he asks Trey, like, hey, can you do this for me? Do this little favor for me? I'll buy you, well, breakfast is free, so I'll do something for you. And they're like, you know what, bet, I got nothing really else to do, and that's okay. And also, I'm gonna really cut. There are like 3 scenes, their storyline. They don't really do that much, to be honest with you. It's also nice to like give Liam and like Trey some. Again, I love that Trey's getting more screen time. I love that he's kind of we're getting more of him in different angles than we've seen him before. So Trey does the favor for Liam. He smooth talks his way into the public records office, gets the deeds by kind of like not really seducing, more like just flexing his biceps, which I'm like, damn. I wish I was at that level yet, but I still have more gym time to go through. So they get the records, and the last scene in the episode, which again, I know I'm going pretty fast with it, but they're really not involved too heavily much. I mean, we do get to see a little bit of Liam later, but like in terms of this storyline, I think they head over to the Daversons' ranch or just the property or the house borders of their house. I haven't seen the outside of their house in a while. I think it's the Daversons' area, but so they're just investigating some stuff, and they're realizing that the map that they found from the inside the wall back after the whole surveillance thing was found out, and the public records do not match. It turns out that there's some irregularities, and the thing to note is that there's a decent chance the Daversons actually own much more land than they have, because, and the theory, the thing is that the property that they also supposedly own, if these documents are to be true, is that the Walkers are technically living on a decent part of the Daverson's land, which is a bit of an issue if anyone decides to bring this up because I believe in like, I don't know how that works really. I live in New York, so I'm like, we don't really have that issue so far. Like, here's the land, that's it. We're in a suburban area, a modern area like that. That's not really a problem. When you get to the rural areas, when you get like parts like Texas, I guess you could argue that like, hey, they're on my land. Here's the original deed. Like, I have a right to this land, and they can do whatever they want with it. Like, if they decide, you know what, I just want you to acknowledge it's my land. Don't worry about it. Everything stays normal. Don't worry about it. But there's also the dickbags that will say, hey, look, I'm in charge now. I want you off my land because it is my land. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. So if I don't want you to live on here, that's my right. And everyone says, yes, you're in the right. So, and again, considering the fact where the Walkers and the Daversons are right now, I could imagine them like really going hard into the Walkers, like just kicking them out. So that is a decent chance. So, but Liam can't really say anything until he's absolutely certain that this is a thing. We have to prepare for this, or we got to hide this, you know, but we'll see how that goes in the future. Walker shows up at James's office, and James is going through a bunch of applications and potential recruits to become new Rangers, specifically to be Walker's new partner. Nothing's really fitting the bill for him right now, but of course to keep Walker distracted since, you know, we need him something to do because of everything that happened. I mean, Sorreto's dead, so like there's not really much for him to do. So it's like, you know what? Here's an offshoot case. There's a missing Ranger that supposedly has re-emerged after months of being presumed dead. So go check it out, you know, because this guy's maybe acting like a poser, like not really a Texas Ranger just to get stuff that he wants. So go find him, go check him out. Walker's under the impression of like, oh, let's get the boys back together. And James like, nah, you're on your own in this one. Which I can feel Cordell's voice that he was like kind of bummed a little bit, kind of bummed. He was. He does his own detective work. He does find the car that was reported stolen by this Texas Ranger. He looks around, but it's kind of suspicious that the car is still turned on. It's very much wide in the open, not really hidden that well. But his chain of progress doesn't really continue to follow as much because he gets cornered by another Ranger, and she basically holds him at taser point. And this is the introduction of Cassie, our brand new Texas Ranger for the show, our Cordell's eventual new partner. Sorry for the spoilers, but you know, you're watching this episode review, you're gonna get spoiled. Immediately, like, I love the dynamic between these two. Like, you know, at first I was like a little bit like kind of like off-putting because I think I was just so used to Mickey that like I was at first trying to see like, this isn't really jiving that well, really. But then once you start to get into it, like especially after when Cordell gets thrown into the car, which by the way, which was like my highlight of the episode, like Jared Padalecki gets tased and thrown into a car. I mean, like that's the best clickbait title if I ever decide to do one. Like that would be hilarious. Or if anyone decides to do that, please do that. And putting him in the trunk of a car, and I'm like, I know how that feels like because I believe 6 years ago, I was heading off to a Renaissance fair with an old friend of mine. Not really my friend anymore, but whatever. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. But the car that we were using was very small, and I was a bigger guy back then. If you've seen my 2016 video, you can see I was a much bigger dude. So. In reality, having his entire family and me fit in this tiny car was not going to happen. So they were like, okay, what can we realistically do to get everyone over there without taking a second car? Because that was going to waste more time and gas. And I recommended stupidly, I could just sit in the trunk. Don't worry about it. And literally, we couldn't even go as far as the supermarket in our own town. And this fair was in Jersey. So I'm like, you can obviously guess, like, there was absolutely no way I was going to survive hours on a trip with a stiff neck. I honestly thought the truck was going to have more room. And Cordell's a big dude. He's like 6 foot something. So I'm like, I could easily see like, yeah, this wasn't going to fly for him. So they're having this like very fun banter because, you know, she's like still claiming like, you're the fake. Where's my partner? What do you know about him? And Cordell's like, listen, I'm a real Texas Ranger. And everyone's just like, oh, you're using the name off the Texas Ranger dude that's always on the news, which I'm like, damn, Cordell's like popular right now. He's hot. Well, let's not get into that. Cordell has enough of this. He pulls the e-brake in this electronic car, I guess, and manages to kind of slide them over to the sidewalk. Cassie decides to call over Captain James, and you know, she just gives basically the most blunt and honest facts about Walker. And all James has to say, like, yeah, that's him. That's our Walker. And she's like, all right. She opens the trunk, like, so I fucked up. And thankfully Cordell takes that in like the most honest way, like the most like he's calm. He's also pissed, but he's calm. But before they're able to explore this any further, the local PD show up and immediately assume that these two are the fake Texas Rangers that everyone's been looking for. And again, he says the same things like, "Oh, please, you're using the name of the same Rangers that's always on the news," and it's like. Does anyone not put like, there are photos. We live in a social media. Does no one have Cordell Walker's photo plastered on TV screens that is not ours on the news? Like, come on. Like, it does not take that long. Like, Jesus. So they head back to the station. It's all cleared up, but the dynamic continues between these two. But Cassie explains that the reason why she's so I forget what the word is. The reason why she's so invested in this case is that the name of the ranger that this fake ranger is using is her ex-partner, and she's currently on a leave of absence from being a ranger. So she couldn't really publicly say a lot of facts when she was apprehending Cordell, because technically she's not really on duty. Which thankfully James, having kind of like a kindred soul, is like, you know what, that's fine, don't worry about it, but like, you know, this is something like I'm questioning, because like you were doing pretty well, but why did you take this like very lengthy leave of absence? And you know, she's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm still new. I'm only 4 months in, like realistically speaking. But after this entire thing, she quit, and also the only reason she was kind of hired was kind of, I forgot what the terminology is. I know it's not diversification for the sake of diversifying, but it was definitely like once James became the first captain to approve a woman Texas Ranger, that kind of sent an echo throughout other branches throughout Texas, and the Dallas camp wanted their own female Texas Ranger, so they hired her. But her captain didn't really believe in her, so there was a lot of times like she had the title, but she didn't have the respect. Unlike Mickey earning the respect of everyone there, so she wasn't really very comfortable staying there longer without her partner, so she decided to take that indefinite leave of absence, and with this entire thing, she decided to re-emerge. For the sake of things, considering the fact she is very determined and she is very gung-ho about it, she just said, you know, why don't you unofficially help out Cordell in this case, be his unofficial partner? And they're both like, absolutely not, this is not going to work, this is not going to fly. And again, like even like early on, like I love their banter, like, you know, they're just, Mickey was always what Cordell needed to be cooled down. This was something like Cordell is like, this is like a younger version of Cordell. Like she's got the same tropes, she got the same energy, she's got the same sense of thinking, but she's not fully developed yet because she's still so new. Cordell's been very much more experienced, has a lot more memories on this job than she has. So that's kind of what I'm akin to this here, like kind of like a brother-sister dynamic a little bit, if that kind of makes sense, or an older brother, younger sister type thing. She doesn't accept the offer, but she does kind of, you know, assume that, yeah, I'll think about it. While Cordell's like, I'm not doing this at all. Like, there's absolutely no way. And James, being like the logistical guy here, is like, look, she's after him. We basically know really nothing. Like, having a little bit of insight is better than having nothing at all. I know we had some scenes with Grandma Walker. She's at the farmer market getting some stuff for the chile for the family restaurant. She runs into the oldest Mrs. Davidson, and again, they still have a rivalry going. They still like very much hate each other's bones, since they both boned their her husband and her ex-fiance. That even makes sense. Also, gotta say, Grandma Walker got around. Like, not in that way. I'm not saying like that in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, you know, already in the show, like, you know, what grandma's like, they're kind of sweet and like kind of innocent, and Grandma Walker's kind of like a modern interpretation of a grandma, where like, yeah, she's had a history. And it's ironic, like, we got so much of her history spoken onto the show than we've had already, so. Grandpa Walker seems like the type of person where he hasn't had much. Or maybe we don't know. Who knows? Yeah, Grandma Walker and I'm gonna call her Grandma Daverson are just mentally having it out. Like, yeah, they really hate each other's guts, but, you know, they're trying to be civil. They're in a public place, you know, trying to hold it back. Thankfully, they kind of impasse on the conversation. I know that there's a brief mention of, I forgot what happened was, I know there was something at the bar. Jerry was there too. I forgot it was Mrs. Davidson or Cassie there. Like, I forgot. I apologize. It was one of those two. So they did have a conversation there. I know eventually Jerry does mention, not Jerry, Mrs. Grandma Walker mentions like, yeah, since like everyone's kind of busy with their own lives, Grandpa Walker needs some stable hands. So if anyone needs a job, there it is. Which I'm like, again, I want to know the farm life economy. I want to know that because I'm just curious about it. Just how do you really make a good decent amount of money? I only saw Smallville. That's like the only thing they mentioned was like, it's a lot of bills to pay. There's a lot of overdue stuff, but the moment they kind of like get everything regulated, it's kind of like, okay, how do we think about financially? I like to know about it. I like to know about that sort of thing. So Cassie, sort of somehow hearing this news, decides to reach out to Grandma Walker, and kind of get her on the inside of like, yeah, I'm interested in being a stable hand. I'm interested in getting paid for this job, and they're getting kind of chummy a little bit. Liam shows up. They all got a good banter going. She's knowing a little bit more about Cordell and his family, and it's nice for her Grandma Walker to say like, yeah, we considered Mickey family. It sucks that she's gone. She really helped Cordell a lot, but she's always welcome back. When she wants to, which I'm pretty sure was like a message to Lindsay Morgan, like whenever you decide to come back, you Gucci, you get to come back. I can definitely tell that Cassie was kind of like warming up to Cordell and the Walkers a little bit, not too much, a little bit. Meanwhile, Walker was kind of having it out with her at the bar with Jerry's like really wanting to get wasted, like this woman is an absolute like disaster. Like I don't know how anyone can work with her. And Jerry, again, being a perfect potential partner romantically for Cordell, like she's just commenting on his bullshit. Like, no, that's how you are. So why is it okay for you to do it and not for her? Like, I mean, look at the situation here. And again, I really love this band, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you guys went through an entire summer without talking about this damn thing. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, I can't really be blamed. I kept a lot of crushes in my head like for years on end, so I really can't say shit about it. Where do we go from there? Yeah, so eventually they get a little bit drunk, not too much. They get a little bit intoxicated. They head back over to the house, but they're really acting like they're in love. They like have feelings for each other. Everything's happy, and then Cassie comes into the room, and Walker is like, "What the hell is this woman doing in my house?" And they briefly have like a standing fight, and Cassie's just dicking around with Walker. It's like, oh, you were so cute, like this is a nice family home. And Walker's assuming like, oh, you really do want to be my partner if you're really to go this entire length to figure out who the hell I am. And again, I love this banter. It's different. Like it's not Walker and Mickey again where they can like level each other out. It's just like equal and equal over here. Like, and that's kind of how it is, and I love it. I really do. Eventually, they do get a call from someone in the analysis field that they found a tracker inside the car, but it wasn't like a car tracker like from the company. It was like a secondary car tracker. So they're thinking like, why would there be another car tracker in this car if it was stolen? Until they realized that they were that whoever put this tracker in the car was trying to find the location of the Ranger Depot, which is where the car is being held right now. So they realized that this guy just wanted to find the location so he can go in there and get some supplies going. So they immediately dash out to the depot. They look around. They do find the dude like trying to make a gun for it. Cool stunt with Walker on the crates trying to look for him, and then the car just like passes. I don't even know what the strategy was here. Like he literally tried to kill Walker. He hit a bunch of boxes. He goes through the wall, but it's not one of those cool like, you jump through the wall, and then all four tires land on the thing, and you just keep driving. It's not like that. He just fucks up and just immediately crashes into it. Walker's briefly held down by some pallets, but Cassie heads over there quickly to kind of just find him, and it's a very brief standoff, but Cassie had like some weird metal pipe and uses that to her advantage and takes down the dude, tries to get any information out of him, and he always says like, look, I heard about this guy on the news, so I use his name because I took advantage of it, so I can use that identity to kind of get what I need to get out of here. So she's kind of a little bit aggressive since like she was kind of hoping this would be the big lead to try and figure out what did happen to her old partner. She's about to go a little too far. Walker comes in to kind of like defuse the situation. It works, thankfully. And yeah, they have a very sincere, I think their first sincere moment ever where they're just like communicate like just how it is right now with their emotional states right now, and kind of like in a weird, very twisted way, they kind of need each other right now, if that makes sense. So, It was nice. Like, they kind of like saw each other as equals. Like, they kind of looked at each other as like, you understand me. This is nice. This was really nice. So we cut to the next day, where Cassie gets the load that, like, here's the guy's name, but he has absolutely no connection with anything you were suspecting from him. It was just a drifter, seeing a chance of opportunity, and it failed. So it doesn't really line up well. So it doesn't really give much resolution to Cassie. But as for James, he didn't just call, like, this could have easily just been explained on the phone. Like, there's another reason why she was called down here. And James was honest and like, look, I've been looking for this new partner, this new Texas Ranger for Cordell. And I didn't know who I was looking for until you came along. So I know you're still going to be in town to keep trying to find your partner. I know you're going to try and like do your damn best to find any sort of clue. You might as well do it under my jurisdiction as me as your captain, being a ranger for my force. And it was honestly, you know, like, she's what Cordell needs right now. I believe, like, it's a joke. Like, they're self-aware about it, but it's inadvertently going to be like true eventually down the line. And James gives, I think, the best delivery for this entire episode. Like, the moment I figured out that you were meant to be the next ranger, the next partner for Cordell, was the taser. Like, you tasing Cordell was like, absolutely, you're in. Like, if you can do that to Walker, you can do anything. Which I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. She breaks the news to Walker like, yeah, I'm a ranger here now. I'm your new partner. And Walker's like already like, okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. We could be a team, you know, we could be a team. But a little nice piece of advice that Cassie gives to Walker before they both head out for the day and start their official partnership tomorrow. She does tell him, like, look, I was looking at you and Jared. I was looking at you too. Like, you guys had some feelings going. Like, you know, you never know when the last time you're going to see them is. So why not, if you have the chance right now to get them out of your way, why not do it? Which I'm like, absolutely. Like, thank you so much, Cassie. Like, only one episode in, I already love you. Like, you're great. So finally, Cordell takes that to heart, and he drives out to Jerry's. And I honestly thought for a second, like, this could have been traditional TV trope where he's going to go over there. Jerry's in a very beautiful dress, and she's going to reveal, like, oh, I'm with a guy right now. Or she was about to go have sex with another guy. And Cordell was just going to just say something stupid, you know, and walk away. The inkling would be in Jerry's mind, but she already would have done the deed with that guy. I honestly thought that was what they were going to go for, and I was like, dude, you don't do that to Cordy. Don't do that to Cordell right now. You can't take it. But thankfully, it's not. It's just a traditional Cordell being a nervous wreck, like most men are. Like, even the most good-looking men in the world are still nervous wrecks. Like, you know, not everyone has the same confidence as, like, another person. So he's stumbling with his words, but thankfully Jerry catches on, like, yeah, he's confessing his feelings, and, you know, it's a bit... You don't really know what's going to happen because, like, you know, like, they never had a full-on discussion about it. You know, it was just the last time they talked about it was just mainly the timing. Like, this isn't the time we should be having this conversation. It wouldn't be the right time to get together. It would be best if we stay friends and talk about this another day. Another day is finally here, and thankfully Jerry laments and, like, you know what? It's obvious, as clear as day. Like, yeah, you're sometimes your best friend ends up being the woman that you need, and they kiss. And immediately they just go into the house and, like, you know, let's do it. Like, you know, let's get these kids off. Which I'm like, okay, yeah. Now I'm really thinking about it. I was like, yeah. So Cordell hasn't had any since his wife passed, and I'm sorry to be more morbid like that, but it's true. And I'm assuming Jerry's been stagnant and just played around with Hoyt once in a while. I'm really sure. I mean, yeah, these are people that are, like, in their late 30s, early 40s. So I'm like, they've had history. Like, you got to really accept that. So whatevers. So yeah, that's where the episode ends. Well, the episode ends with the other scene, but this is where, for me, the episode ends. So there you go. But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this episode. This was definitely what the show needed, you know, bringing in a new partner, putting in a whole new dynamic, keeping everything fresh. This felt very simple as well. I didn't feel too overcomplicated. And I just remembered, I forgot about the kids. I forgot about the kids. I'm like, oh my God, like, wait, why didn't that wrap up so early? And, like, this felt like my usual time. I'm like, why am I forgetting something? Like, I forgot about the kids. Yeah, Stella's sort of seen that dude from the last episode. The young Daverson's kind of feeling jealous because he does have feelings for Stella. August is being honest, is like, look, I like you, dude. This thing with Stella is with this guy. Don't worry about it. It's just a fling. it's just the rebound. I would like it for you to be Stella's guy. Once the rebound is over, you can have to wait a little bit, just to be a little bit patient. And Stella's kind of like, at first, is acting like, yeah, this is just a fling. This isn't really going to go anywhere. And it's all about subverting expectations. So the whole thing is that they're all hanging out. They're all talking about this concert they want to go to, but sadly tickets were sold out weeks ago. But the guy Stella's seeing actually has it in with the Ticketmaster, so he can get them all good tickets if they can get the good word in. So they get ready, but they don't see the dude on the time of the show. So young Davidson takes Stella to the guy's house to see if they can go pick up the tickets directly, see what's going on. Initially, I thought, like, yeah, this was like being traditional dick back moment. He's cheating on Stella with someone else. Let's hurt Stella even more. But no, like, this guy just honestly tells her, like, yeah, I'm sorry I'm running late. I'm tutoring my brother. He really needs the help right now because otherwise he's going to get left back, and I don't want him to be the same way as me. Stella kind of sees through that, like seeing the honesty, seeing like the respect. And it hurts young Daverson when he gets the tickets from Stella, and Stella tells him that, hey, just have fun. Let me know how it goes. And that's when he realizes, like, wait, you're staying? He's like, yeah, I got something to do. I'm sorry. But please enjoy, and we'll talk tomorrow. Honestly, like, I felt for him. I felt for him in that moment, because I definitely had those moments of, being interested in someone, not telling them the feelings quick enough, and having someone else take them away. And again, that's not meant to say I was entitled to them or anyone's entitled to this person. I'm not trying to say that at all, but I am saying that I definitely know the feeling of like having someone else get to the person you want to be with quicker than you. I definitely do. I do understand that feeling. And it hurts, like, because again, I feel for young Davidson, and it would be nice for them to be together, but Stella's kind of feeling it for him right now in a deeper way now. Then that it's not just a fling. They kiss for the first time at the end of the episode, so I'm like, that is not going to go over well. That really isn't. And that was the end of the episode. But again, like I was saying before, this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Cass is going to fit in very well here in the Walkerverse family. The Walker family got a new member. Can't wait to see how that all goes with the whole Daverson and now Walker land property dispute. Let's see how that keeps going on. Got some new mysteries going. Got some new matters going. It's a good time to be alive. The month definitely helped give it some time to like sit, stew, and come up with some new ideas. So I'm very happy about it. So I'm gonna give this episode 2 thumbs up. I liked it a lot. So please let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Walker? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have a discussion with you down below. But that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally in What's in the Tube besides our Walker episode reviews, we're currently doing Rookie Season 4 episode reviews each and every week after brand new episode on ABC. So go check them out there. We also do quick impressions, first impressions, season reviews of shows. Go check them all out. If you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with the next episode review, so stay tuned then. But again, you can subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next Walker review is live. Please also like, favorite, share this review if you want to. And please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for the channel. But until we see each other next week for the next episode of Walker, for all you members out there of the Walker family, I'll see you all until then. But until then, I keep repeating my words, and my mouth is really freaking dry. I've been talking for at least half an hour, at least. So until next week, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.